All right, everyone. Welcome back. We are up to episode 3, I think, of these video chats. We have the lovely Sam from Royal with us today to give us an update on all things Royal and how she's going and, you know, dealing with this situation at the moment like everybody else. So over to you, Sam. Give us a little update on you know, for the people that don't know who you are, you know, who you are, where you've come from, how you landed where you're sitting at the moment, and what's going on in your world.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Sam. So I am Strategic Account Manager for Royal Caribbean. So I actually look after Flight Centre, the Flight Centre business, I guess, nationally. I used to be the Queensland District Sales Manager, but now we have Erin and Hayley in that role. So I'm sure that you've seen them in your stores and around the traps. If you haven't seen me, it's probably because I'm not on the road, but many of you would have seen me prior. I used to be the BDM for Uniworld, and prior to that I was 16 years with Flight Centre. So I started at Flight Centre Mount Omni when I was just a little 24-year-old, and I was there, and then I went from there to Indooroopilly Mega. Then I went off and had babies, and then in the interim I came back and did some training. I was a novice mentor for a little while. I was cruise about, I was web chat, so I pretty much have stuck my finger in a lot of the Flight Centre pies over the years. So it's really great now that I get to work with those teams that I've known for so long and still feel like part of the crew with Royal, which is such a fantastic company to work for, and I truly love it. So that's a little bit about me.
How's the social distancing, you know, environment or world going for you at the moment?
Well, I am a family of 5, so I have 3 children. They have 14, 12 and 8.
Wow.
So there's lots of non-social distancing in our household. No one wants to be near each other, but unfortunately we all are. There's lots of who's got the remote and who's eating my Easter eggs, and everyone is sick of everybody. Yeah. But we are doing our best. As far as social distancing in a work environment, I'm kind of in Queensland by myself. Erin's in town, and Hayley, the other BDM for Royal, she's at the Goldie. So we haven't seen each other. We have had Zoom drinks, which is very important. Yep. But yeah, no, I'm pretty much Zooming and WebExing with everybody. My mum is at Bribey, so she harasses me daily over FaceTime, and I just decline often. And so yeah, no, it's really interesting. I've never been this far away from people before, and this close to my children.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you know, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what about work-wise? Are you working sort of still 5 days a week, or what's happening in the?
Yeah, we're really lucky. At the moment, we're still 5 days a week, all working from home. So our office in Sydney is actually shut completely. No one's allowed in there. And the entire business is working remotely. We have very regular meetings. And look, I think it's going okay. I think it's a change for the people that are used to going in the office. For the guys like me that are on the road, I think it's much less of a change. But it's still, you know, it's still really interesting. So, but I feel really lucky with Royal because they have tried, and I guess continue to try to make sure that we're all still working. We're all doing courses. There's lots of things being done in the background to try and improve our skills for, you know, the eventual return for the industry. So I feel, you know, really, really happy that we have that opportunity.
Yeah, cool. Are you doing anything personally on the side? Have you taken up a new hobby? Are you getting back into
homeschooling? Is my new hobby.
Homeschooling. How good's that?
No, it's not great. It's not great. The teacher's drinking on the job.
Yep.
No, look, we live in Acreage, so we are just at the back of Kenmore in Brisbane, for everyone that knows the area. So there's been lots of gardening. My son's ride motorbike, so I've been attempting to ride motorbike with my son. Most of the time I scream into the helmet. So, you know, we've been doing a lot of that kind of thing. Personally, I've done some LinkedIn learning courses, which through LinkedIn, Royal has a connection and they actually recommend things that they would like us to do. And that's an ongoing process. But obviously, for the first time in probably since I've worked for Royal, I've had the opportunity to go through and sit down and do some of those.
Are they,
so that's been really...
Are they public courses or are they something that Royal has?
No, they're public courses, but they're just courses that HR, I don't exactly know how they choose them, but courses that they say, hey, we'd love it if you did this. And it's just something that they offer us to do in our own time.
Might be something that we could share with the
absolutely.
If it's a public course that they could, we might chuck it into the post with one of the links.
Absolutely. There's actually a really good one about how to be effective working from home. So for people that have just started working from home and have never done it before, particularly, you know, if it's completely new, it's a great opportunity to learn how to actually use your time effectively and not get caught up in doing the vacuuming and that kind of thing, which sometimes everyone gets led astray by those distractions when you're at home.
Really? I don't really get distracted.
No vacuuming?
No, not at all.
Okay, fixing the car, washing the car.
Yeah, a few of those things. Cleaning out the garage has been my thing at the moment because there's all gym equipment in there now. You know, for the kids, my daughter's a gymnast, and you know we've got bars and beams and all sorts of stuff, so that she can do that from home. So that's my activity at home. But yeah, definitely not vacuuming.
Not vacuuming. I've done the linen closet. I have cleaned out the linen closet.
Cool.
Threw out a lot of old sheets. And I have done all of the cutlery drawers, took all the cutlery out and cleaned it all out. So, yeah.
And look, I think you're not the first person on these calls to mention that they've been doing some of those sorts of things. And I think, and the only reason why I guess I talk about it is because I think it is relevant to what people should be doing with their businesses as well, especially those small businesses or sole traders out there that are, you know, haven't had the opportunity to work on their business whilst they've been so deep in the business. So all of those little things that you've been putting off, whether it is, you know, doing those LinkedIn courses or even starting a LinkedIn page or an Instagram page or even a Facebook business page. I know some people don't have those. You know, this is the time, you know, for all of those things to get done that you've been putting off forever. So
absolutely. Even sorting out your emails. How many people have, I mean, I've discovered recently that I had, you know, thousands of emails. They're all read, but I don't actually clean out my inbox into folders. And so I started doing that and, you know, cleaning up your desktop. And if you've got, you know, particularly if you're a sales rep, you might have a presentation from 2016 sitting on your desktop and none of it is relevant anymore, and getting rid of that stuff. It's really cleansing, and it's a great opportunity to do it at the moment.
You could probably spend a day just unsubscribing to the shit that comes through. Like,
online shopping.
You know, every day you just hit archive or delete. But if you spent the actual time to go in and click unsubscribe to stuff you probably don't need. But yeah, same thing. You know, that's that concept of cleaning up or being on top of stuff that you haven't done for a long period of time. I think that relates to everything that we do, whether it is your stuff at home in your linen closet or it's stuff in your business or your work life. So
absolutely.
So let's talk about Royal. What's Royal doing at the moment to sort of stay engaged with their agents, and you know what are you guys doing sort of proactively?
I think as an industry, cruise is lying. We are lying fairly low, I think, across the board, and that generally to the consumer. I'm sure everyone would be aware that the press hasn't been super kind to the cruise industry as a whole, and so. You know, we don't want to over respond to that. We would rather just kind of do what we do and kind of get on with it. As far as our contact with our agents, all the DSMs, because we're all still working 5 days a week, we are reaching out over phone. And I really encourage everybody who is still in stores and home users, people that are working, to reach out to us as well and your other suppliers. Have a chat. What's happening, so that you are, you know, ahead of the game when the game restarts, and also just to keep that contact and keep that relationship alive, because I think it's really important. Everyone's suffering. You know, of course, I'm lucky and we're lucky to all still be working, but that doesn't mean that, you know, we don't want to have a talk to everybody and see how everybody's going and vice versa. So I really encourage people to keep in touch. For Royal, our DSMs, as I said, they're reaching out to as many people as they can. And the key account guys, which is myself, and there's 2 other key account managers who are keeping in touch as best they can. So I try to call the guys that I work with, you know, daily, not the same person every day, but at least trying to have a chat. Is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that we need to talk about? And is there anything that you think that you've learnt that we could apply to the future? Because I think moving forward, I think some of the things that we talk about in training sessions, some of the things that we talk about at a contracting level, at a marketing level, I think those things might be different in the future. I think that the things that potentially were important might not be as important as they once were, and then we might be looking in you know, at other avenues or other angles. Yeah. So, you know, I really encourage everyone to keep talking about what's happening in their businesses and what they hear, what they see, so that we're all kind of, you know, communicating around what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much, and that's really all we can do at the moment.
Yeah.
One of the things about everyone working from home is you do feel that distance between, for us, travel agents being our number 1 client, you know, we do feel that disconnection. So the more that we can keep that alive, yeah, and chat and communicate over Facebook and, you know, these kind of things that we're doing right now, I think really important to manage that loneliness in that relationship, yeah, and keep that togetherness happening.
And does Royal have a online training sort of hub for agents, or any sort of content there that they can be jumping on and doing in the downtime?
Yes. It's not online training. We used to have a training platform called Cruising with Confidence. However, that has been shelved for the moment because we've had so much change within the business. Many people would know that late last year we did a full restructure and Celebrity, Azar and Royal split. So we're no longer a tri-branded organisation. So I used to look after the 3 brands and now I'm just Royal. Yep. So there's been a huge amount of change sort of going on in the background. So for that reason, Cruising with Confidence just isn't relevant anymore. Yep. However, what we do have is Homeport, so RCI Homeport. We bang on about it to agents every day of the week. So hopefully most people already have it. But on there, we're doing regular updates of what's happening, regular updates of cruising suspension. So overnight, it came out just now that we've increased the suspended sailings globally until until June. Yes, it was May, now it's June. So that came out overnight, and as well, our Cruising with Confidence policy has expanded to go through to September.
Oh, great.
So all of those updates are being regularly added to Homeport, and there's FAQs. There's a lot of information on there. Yeah. So anyone who's not registered on Homeport, certainly rcihomeport.com.au, do register.
And what about some of the future stuff? Obviously, most of the cruise industry have been talking about, you know, the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years even worth of ship builds and what's coming next, and the next, you know, mega ship and all of those, you know, new and exciting things that we've been talking about over the last sort of 12 months. What's Royal doing in that space? Has anything been put on pause? Are we just sort of waiting to see? You know, is there any, you know, talk about, you know, the big future plans that they did have? You know, are they still sitting there, or what's happening from that point of view?
I haven't heard of anything officially being put on hold. We still have Odyssey of the Seas, which is the newest Royal ship. She's still coming. Yep. We still have Lalepa in Vanuatu, the private island. I haven't heard that that is happening. Whether or not it's delayed, of course, that's possible, but I haven't heard anything official. But it's certainly still happening. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we're still going to be doing all the things that we were doing. Whether or not those timeframes, you know, will look the same, I'm sure that they won't. Yeah. But I definitely think that it will happen. I do think that recovery-wise, and that will be the priority. Yeah. But certainly, you know, we're not giving up that easily.
No, of course.
So yeah, certainly those things will still be happening, but there'll definitely be a slowdown, even with some of the refits that were happening. So up until end of last year, we were doing around 10 ships, I believe. So we've gotten through several of the upgrades. Radiance of the Seas was supposed to be done this year, but I know that that refit, and it was only a soft refit, but I know that that has been delayed. So there'll be several delays, but it doesn't mean that it won't be happening. Certainly, I haven't heard any official, but I imagine, there'll just be a delayed process happening there. And certainly, those costs are quite high as well, so we have to be mindful of that.
And I guess with the cruise industry, there's going to be a bit of chicken or the egg scenario with consumer confidence, knowing that that their favourite cruise line or their brands that they're so loyal to, that also are showing that there's confidence in the industry. So seeing that Royal are still going ahead with their plans and still bringing those ships and the island of Vanuatu will create that confidence for the consumer, which in the end is only going to give confidence to the agents as well to sell the product and to know that once we do bounce back, everything's going to be all systems go, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the recovery will be slower than we first anticipated, and I think particularly with the border situation that and look, I don't know how it's going to look. That's well above my pay grade, but certainly there may be more of a focus on domestic cruising or shorter cruising, or the deployment might change a little bit. And I think there will be a focus on really talking to our existing customers. If you're new to cruise, I think you're probably in a situation where you'd rather go to the Gold Coast, because you're just not educated on what we do and what the industry does. But for those existing customers who do have loyalty and love to cruise, I think that's where the focus will be. And I think that'll be true for us. And I actually think it'll probably be true for most of the industry. That there'll be a larger focus on those existing customers, and whether or not we're cruising domestically or on short cruises, I don't know how that is going to look, but I certainly think there'll be some changes there.
And what do you think the agents out there should be doing at the moment? What's your advice for the time of the downturn? Those still working, still in business, even those that have been stood down. What do you think that they should be up to at the moment to make sure that they're ready for the bounce back?
On a personal level, I think that they should be looking after themselves first and foremost. It is really stressful time for a lot of agencies, not that element of unknown. I think it's really stressful for everybody. So making sure that everyone's looking after themselves. If going through your linen closet is what you need to do, then you should do that. And professionally, I think there is so much information out there that we can access. A lot of it's free. If you're on LinkedIn, then use it. There are some fantastic courses on there that are free, and you can also make some fantastic connections in the industry that you might not otherwise have known. So you can reach out to people that you might not have had the opportunity to speak to in your business, but in other businesses as well. There are really some great mentors out there in the industry. I think it's really great to make those connections. And as you said earlier, if you don't have a Facebook page, you don't have an Instagram page, now is the perfect time to use those tools just to educate yourself and to really showcase your business and what you do. And I think as well, keeping abreast of what's happening in the industry, not just with cruise, but across, all the suppliers, rail, air, ski, what's happening, because I know that everyone's has some different targets for returning to business, and so that you're aware of who's doing what and when they're doing it, and potentially that can help you with what you're going to target and what you want to sell and where you think you can have some success. Certainly agents with large client bases, if you can segment who's been where and who's done what, then that gives you the opportunity to really not so much target, but really influence those people with what they want to travel to, what they want to be doing and what they've done in the past. So if you have that kind of technology and access to that information, I think you can really use it to your benefit going forward.
I think the buzzword people are using is personification.
Nice.
It's pretty big for me, but but yeah, that's exactly what it is. Is making sure that if you do have that database, and you are using an Excel spreadsheet or something, that whether it's a little black book or whatever you want to do, making note of who those customers are, what they're into, where they like to go, where they like to travel. What type of traveler are they? Having all of that information and working on that now is only going to give you that, I guess, upper hand when it does come to a bounce back. So you can drop that right product in front of the right customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can update them to say, oh, well, you know, at the moment, domestic cruises are kicking off in, you know, August or September. You know, I wanted to let you know first because I know how much you love the cruise. You know, let me grab you a cabin, as opposed to blanket EDM to your whole database saying, hey, domestic cruises are out. And 80% of those people, you know, aren't interested at all. You know. Or,
absolutely.
So,
and I think there's a large opportunity because a lot of people will have credit. A lot of people have a future cruise certificate. You know, that there are literally thousands and thousands of customers out there who have travel credit, and they need to use it, and they should be using it with their travel agent. So reaching out to those people, even if, you know, a database of people that you know have a credit and what they have it for, keeping in touch with them. I think it's really important. Even, and I know it was last week, but even an Easter greeting card, those kind of things, you know, it's really important for that relationship to continue, because like our relationship, the supplier and the retail relationship, you want to have, you know, those relationships continue with your clients. You know, if you're not working or you're on lesser hours and you go 6 months without reaching out to your top 20 clients to see how they are, then those people may not be your top 20 clients in 6 months' time. So I think it's really important that we use the time. We may not have that much business coming in, but to guarantee that future business.
Yeah, keep those relationships strong. You know,
Absolutely.
You can only imagine if you were the customer and you finally received some sort of communication from your agent the day that the border opens or the day that you can cruise again. You know, the first thought might be, oh, hang on a minute, you know, you only want to speak to me now that
you just want my money.
You want my money. You know, where were you for the last 6 months? You know,
exactly.
So, you know, and it's not, you know, and look, you know, it's going to give you something to do. It's going to make you feel connected to your customers and connected to your business, and making sure that you're still in the game, even though you're not currently playing. It's just a long off season.
That's exactly right, and it keeps your skills up, keeps you relevant, and you know, when everyone's sort of a little bit isolated from the world, it also, you know, it keeps you, I don't want to say sane because that makes it sound like we're going insane, and we're not, but it certainly, you know, it does give you that purpose, and keeps you relevant, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Sam. That's been really helpful, and you know, great insight to what's happening in the world of Royal and you personally. The only thing we need you to do before we let you go is to give us your nominations. So you need to nominate 3. So 3 of your rep buddies. Now we are being a little bit Queensland heavy at the moment.
Oh, Queensland based. That's okay. I was only going to go Queensland.
So if you can think of anyone that might be outside of Queensland, open it up a little bit more to, you know, Victoria or New South Wales or anyone else out there that you could think might want to join the party. We'd be grateful for that too. But it's your nomination. You go for it.
Do you want me to give them to you now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So I'll nominate Catherine Thornton from Malaysian Airlines.
Nice.
Seeing as we want somebody in a different state, I nominate Hannah Taylor from Celebrity in Victoria.
Nice. Yeah.
And Belle Osmich from Azamara.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we'll tag them in and hope that they can find some time to give us a chat and give us some updates as well. It'd be great. But once again, thank you. We really appreciate making the time. I'm sure a lot of people got some good advice and some good info and some good updates from that. So we really appreciate it. So thanks again. We'll pop all those links in the post so that people can be reminded where they need to go for all those updates and information and possibly some of those LinkedIn courses as well. So watch out for that to come soon. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Sam.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.